This always reminds me of the quote from Alice in Wonderland, where Alice asks, "Which way should I go?" And the caterpillar answers, "It depends on where you want to get to." So starting with the goal of the evaluation is really integral to an effective process. Not all evaluations are created equal, and we can talk about 3 different approaches to program evaluation, each of which is appropriate, but perhaps at different stages and for different kinds of programs. Many of us conduct non-formal evaluation all the time when we decide what phone carrier we should select, when we make decisions about what type of car to buy. Many times this is based on non-systematic anecdotal evidence, but still it provides information that enables us to make decisions. The next level up, or the next more formal approach, is informal evaluation. When we intentionally set out to learn from experience, we set out the questions in advance, and it can rely on post-program analysis by the providers and after-action review, for example, plus feedback from the participants. So reflective practice, reflection, is a form of informal evaluation. And the third approach is the formal approach, which is quite honestly what most people think about when they think about evaluation, but is not, as I said before, it is not the only approach. In this approach, instruments like surveys and interviews for data collection are developed, data is gathered, and the analysis is very often guided by a knowledgeable evaluation practitioner or professional. So at the beginning of program development, very often, it's important to get non-formal evaluation data, to hear anecdotal evidence, to hear what people are saying, and to use that in formative ways to improve a program. Once the program is underway, it certainly makes sense internally to build in opportunities for reflection and for getting feedback in structured ways from the participants, which needs to be done well and systematically, but may not require very formal data gathering methodologies. And once you're ready and you really have the questions and the program is what the program is going to be, then it's important to build in more formal evaluation. So, there are many methodologies that you can use, no matter what approach you take, to evaluation. These methodologies that we're going to go over now are primarily related to formal evaluation. You can extract data from written records. You could do surveys, either written, self-administered questionnaires or online questionnaires, or ones that are more like surveys where the interviewer administers the questions and takes down the answers. There could be observation. We don't do this enough in the Jewish educational world. We're a trained observer using a systematic template, rates behaviors, observes what happens during a program, sometimes using quantitative methodologies, sometimes qualitative, in order to see what's going on. And perhaps one might take physical measurements, including things like how often somebody completes a particular task. Evaluation is not untainted or unaffected by politics and by context. And so one of the things that you need to think about in choosing a methodology, in framing your questions, and deciding who you're going to gather the information from is thinking about what is necessary politically and content-wise within your situation. Are there people whose opinions need to be collected in order for the evaluation to be seen as valid? Are there particular methodologies, for example, collecting quantitative data, that must be used, otherwise key stakeholders will not find the results plausible? So now, let's say we've done the evaluation. We will come back to talk about the next two webinars, actually in both of the next two webinars. So let's fast forward and pretend that you've got your results. What do you do now? Before you even start the evaluation, you need to answer a number of questions, including who owns the data? Is it owned by the evaluator? Is it owned by the program provider? Maybe it is the funder who owns the data. Regardless of the answer, you need to figure this out from the start. What do you do with it? Who's going to have access to the data? Who will get to read it and see it first? Will it be used for program improvement? Will it be circulated to the broader population? Who do you share it with? And when do you share it? Do you share it after the end of the program? Can you share it midway? Can you share it in process? When, where, and how should you keep the results and the data? Should it be filed on a shelf? Again, who has access to it? If you begin to think about these evaluation questions from the start, it will help guide not only your results and direct your results